Silver takes down Sterling, and which welder's hat-wearing vixen will win this week's Underwood Award. I'm John Phillips, and this is After Hours. And it's time once again on After Hours to pick someone who's the worst of the worst and deserves to be elevated to the level of our favorite, truly rotten, evil, dastardly, scheming villain, the House of Cards' own Francis J. Underwood.
Everyone is fair game now, and the butchery begins.
And today's winner is a woman who managed to cozy up to a married billionaire 50 years older than her. And while she says she's only his archivist and not his mistress, he bought her a $1.8 million house. It's almost as nice as Leo's. 2 Bentleys, a Ferrari, other cars, $1 million in living expenses. When the wife found out about it, she sued our winner. So what did our winner do to earn the Underwood Award? Well, she reportedly didn't feel like Mr. Sugar Daddy was standing up for her enough and took swift and brutal revenge. A mysterious recording she made of Sugar Daddy expressing his horrifically racist views mysteriously got released to the press. Mysteriously. Oh, did I forget to mention that Mr. Sugar Daddy owns the Los Angeles Clippers? Yes, V. Stiviano, a.k.a. Vanessa Maria Perez, a.k.a. Monica Gallegos, a.k.a. Maria Monica Perez Gallegos, a.k.a. Maria Valdez, a.k.a. PJ Tobacco. Actually, no, not PJ Tobacco. But this woman is our Francis J. Underwood Award winner this week. And I'm told that she wins a commemorative name belt with glitter on it that's made by our very own Scott Ott, which is the first time it's happened.
Amazing.
This particular award.
I am out of Elmer's glue. If you could send me another jar of Elmer's glue to make those belts with, I'd appreciate it.
Now, that presumes, of course, she's wearing clothes at any certain point that she'd need a belt with, but who knows?
All right, now we have to move on to her true motive. Let's take a look.
One day I will become president of the United States of America, and I will change the legislation and law, modern day history, civil rights movement.
And in case you didn't hear her, she said she wants to be president. We still don't know why she's wearing a welder's mask, but clearly she's an evil mastermind like Cobra Commander. We also aren't quite sure how collapsing your octogenarian boyfriend's sports empire makes you president. Her plot is too inscrutable, but we too have seen her roller skating around town wearing a welder's mask, and I don't know how you do that without falling on your face.
Look,
here she is.
That's a skill in and of itself.
But she did want to roller skate this afternoon. Stiviano, wearing her now trademark sun visor, laced up her roller skates, took to the sidewalk outside her home today and rolled her way up and down the street.
So we'll have to wait to see how the rest of her plan unfolds. But with that, we move on to our main course. The NBA's banned Mr. Sugar Daddy, longtime Clipper owner Donald Sterling, for life. Fined him $2.5 million and will try to force him to sell his team. Why? Well, for being caught on tape saying this.
It's the world. You go to Israel, the blacks are just treated like dogs.
So do you have to treat them like that too?
The white Jews, there's white Jews or black Jews. Do you understand?
And are the black Jews less than the white Jews?
100%, 50, 100%.
And is that right?
It is a question. We don't evaluate what's right and wrong. We live in a society. We live in a culture. We have to live within that culture.
The NBA's commissioner, Adam Silver, says he needs a 3/4 vote from the other owners to make this happen, and he hasn't counted the votes yet, but he's convinced he won't have any trouble getting them. So far, we've heard from Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban, who says that while he thinks that Sterling's comments were awful, he thinks that forcing him to sell the team may be going a bit too far. Other owners have fallen in line with Commissioner Silver, but time will tell where the votes fall. But Sterling's fate as an owner of the Clippers is only one of the issues at play here. The other is, if Donald Sterling was and is such a flaming racist, why was the NAACP prepared to give him his second Lifetime Achievement Award? Our very own Leo Terrell asked the NAACP president at a recent press conference the question, how much money has Donald Sterling given them over the years? They said they didn't know, and later claimed to have only taken $5,000 and thousands upon thousands of basketball tickets. Did they sell out to a racist? And did they do so that cheaply? If so, and the NBA and their membership was okay with it, what's to say that Sterling can't just do it again? Look, it's clear that Donald Sterling looks the worst in this story, and he should. He's a horrible person with antiquated beliefs that have no place in polite society, let alone a profession where 80% of your players are black. But the NAACP should also be ashamed of themselves for becoming his enabler. Here to kick this around is the After Hours panel. She's the host of the Tammy Bruce Radio Show, which you can get online at tammybruce.com. Tammy Bruce. He's a very fair-minded civil rights defense attorney. You can get online at clearthecourt.com. The man of the hour, Mr. Leo Terrell. And he's the PJTV contributor from his home studio in the great state of Pennsylvania, whose political satire books are available at Amazon.com, Mr. Scott Ott. Leo, we'll start with you on this because you were the man that really started pushing this story before others did. In fact, you launched a one-man protest outside of Staples Center over the weekend right after this thing started, and you put the pressure on the NBA and the NAACP to right this wrong.
You know what, I'll tell you right now, it was something because of Sterling's comments that were personal as an African American. They were hurtful. So I took a one-man protest out there. But the story that you raised about the NAACP is a very, very important story. Did the NAACP sell out to Donald Sterling, giving him cover? Yes. Did they accept blood money? Yes. The NAACP has lost its way. It has sold out to special interest groups, and in this case, allowed a man like Donald Sterling to use the NAACP. The NAACP accepted blood money for the purpose of allowing Donald Sterling cover to have these racist attitudes.
Let me ask you a blunt question here. Did the NAACP lose their legitimacy here?
Let me think about that. Yes! Hell yes. They have no credibility. I say that as an African American. I say that as a former member of the NAACP. I say that because I quit the NAACP, because I supported a Republican judge nominee of the Bush administration. They have lost their credibility, period.
How big
I wish he'd be clearer with what he thinks.
Was that a yes or a no? I don't know.
I'm trying to always figure out what Leo
Lines
means.
were crossed.
It's weird.
What do you make of this, Tammy?
Well, look, there's so many ironies here because we know now that effectively it was blood money or money for cover-ups. Now Sterling, he's got a $2.5 million fine he's supposed to pay. We now hear of groups like UCLA Kidney Research Project is refusing his money, millions of dollars. And I'm wondering, when it comes to what our responsibilities are, is it right to then refuse that money when we know what the situation is, and if someone wants to make amends? I mean, these are separate decisions based on groups. So if it's medical stuff or other charities, will all charities now refuse his money? Should they? Should they not? I mean, look, this is here in Los Angeles. We've known this situation with Sterling. That's why many of us are just kind of perplexed why it's now racist as opposed to not being racist 10 or 15 years ago. And it's interesting what happens, and I think this is also the power of television. Is the difference was that it was on TMZ? Is it because it wasn't just local media? Or has local media just ignored it enough to where Los Angelinos were just maybe not aware of it all the time? But you get one audio tape and it goes on TMZ. The difference also is the internet and how quickly it spread through the internet. I mean, this really rips back the ugliness of what happens, especially in this city. Frankly.
Let's expand on that point with Scott Ott. Scott, would this have been a problem for him if we didn't have the audio tape recording? If it was just something that he was quoted as saying in a deposition, would it have the impact as actually hearing his voice say these things?
No, it wouldn't have the same impact. And by the way, I think it's clear why this is such a big deal. It's because Leo Terrell was standing outside of that arena refusing to go in and, with his one-man protest. That's what made this happen. Forget the audio tape. Forget the racism. It was Leo that made this happen. This story has so many weird aspects to it. First of all, a guy, allegedly on the phone having a discussion where he's being racist, telling his apparently Latino girlfriend not to hang out with black guys. It just that where somewhere his racism ends apparently along the continuum of color, along the spectrum there. The other thing is, why not draw this guy out and debate him publicly instead of saying what we're going to do is as an organization, as a company, the NBA is going to shut him down, kick him out, and make sure that nobody ever hears from him again. We need to fight bad speech with more speech, not with silence, not with shutting people down like this. If the guy's really a racist, bring it out and make him debate that stuff.
Well, and Donald
finally,
Sterling,
the great irony of it all, this is a guy who's made his living buying and selling men. And
it's true.
We're now surprised.
He is a litigator, and he's a good one. He's an ambulance chaser.
Yes.
He claims he's going to fight this in court, and he's going to ultimately win. But, Leo, I want you to address the issue. And a lot of the critics of the NBA's decision and a lot of the people defending Donald Sterling are saying this is a First Amendment issue. Can you lay that to rest?
Yes. Let me be as clear as I can. This is not a First Amendment issue. The government is not involved. NBA is a private organization. They can use whatever evidence they want. There is no right of privacy as far as the NBA is concerned. As Adam Silver said, those comments may have been said in private, but they are now made public and can use that information because that information hurts a organization that has a minority base and is detrimental to the league. Let me tell you right now, those players were going to boycott if the NBA did not take action. And they have the right to boycott because it's more than just money, John. It is something deep within that said, this is so outrageous, it cannot be tolerated.
Last question. Oprah Winfrey says she wants to buy the team.
She's part of three. David Geffen,
I like that.
and the guy that started Oracle. And I'll tell you right now, they figured that they needed either Oprah or Whoopi or Sammy Davis Jr., I guess. Look, I mean, can you imagine, because considering the situation, this is about really having a diverse ownership group. Mm-hmm. And so her being brought in, they all have billions of dollars. She obviously wouldn't be involved in running it, but he bought it in 1982 for $12 million. The Clippers, it's now worth $545 million. It'll probably go for $1 billion. Yes.
They're negotiating that could be worth billions.
So it is a smart business move. Clearly, Sterling has made all those players rich. He's enriched the team itself, the franchise itself, and it would be if he does sell. It would be a very smart thing to do. But I would suggest that when it comes to the nature of buying a basketball team, you should be into it. And I also hope with the David Geffen, maybe we should poll everybody, all the other owners and the players, about how they feel about the gays.
I'll tell you what, Tammy, if he does sell the team for over $1 billion, he'll finally be as wealthy as our own Scott Ott.
There you go. And isn't that what we all need? I've been waiting
That's
for that.
what I strive for.
Which NBA
Not
team are you
everybody
going to
can
buy,
be
Scott?
like me. Not everybody. Do they still have an NBA team in Philadelphia? Because that's kind of near here. I'm not aware. I haven't heard about them lately, so I'm not sure if it's still there.
All right, Scott Ott, you get the last word. You can buy his political satire books on Amazon.com. Leo Terrell, the fair-minded civil rights defense attorney, you can get him at clearthecourt.com.
Great job.
Yes, he's the man of the hour, by the way. He is the man that made the story
I want to share my hour
big.
with John, Tammy, and Scott. My hour is shared
I
with
just
all of
love
you.
looking at the NAACP guys at the press conference, like growling at you.
First
I
question
enjoyed
came from
that.
Leo Terrell about the money.
That was great.
There you go. Tammy Bruce, host of the Tammy Bruce Radio Show. You can get her online at tammybruce.com. Don't forget, you can always comment in the comment section below and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/PJTV. For After Hours, I'm John Phillips. Thanks for watching.